Welcome. This is Americ Azevedo here recording the first episode of a series of thoughts and insights primarily being shared with the students of my class, a sophomore seminar in the spring of 2008 entitled Religion, Peace and Conflict. We're entering the middle phase of this seminar, and what is interesting to do at this stage is to look at the possibility of the unity of different religious practices from the perspective of their primary scriptures. We're beginning with the consideration of the Tao Te Ching, a spiritual scripture that's not too well known by many people, even though I've heard that it is the most translated religious document in the world, possibly because it's very mysterious, possibly because it's very difficult, but even more so, I think, because it's incredibly beautiful, paradoxical, and suggestive of another level of understanding and reality that few of us ever can rise to under any circumstance. I myself have studied it and read it in maybe over a dozen to 24 translations over my life since I first was exposed to it in high school. And the depths of meaning in it change a lot. I do know that to get into a scripture like this one requires a certain amount of time. It's only 81 sections long, and each section is only about one page. But it requires a redirecting of the mind to another level to understand it. And this appears to be true for any of the major world scriptures. We cannot just read them like regular books from one side to the other in a sequential way. They defy that kind of understanding. They are not meant to be read with the mind's analytical structure, although that can be useful at some points. They have to be read with the heart as well as the mind, and in fact our entire being. The Tao Te Ching appears deceptively simple, but the meanings of the words are suggesting a whole other level of understanding. I thought I would read 3 different sections, chapters. Each one is really less than a page long. And I'll start with the most famous one, because that's really all most people ever read. Section 1, and this is the Stephen Mitchell translation. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. Probably the most famous passage is, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. You know, or I try to know, that the map is not the territory. The words are not to be confused for the reality. And that is truly one of the biggest problems when we confront world scriptures. We can get lost in the words and interpretation of the meaning of the words, but we're still riding on that level of interpretation. We haven't dived down to what the words are pointing to this reality. And it's unnameable, yet eternally real. And there's a clue here that by being free from desire, you realize the mystery. I think that's very true almost of any world scripture. getting our desire out of the way so that it is no longer my frustration, my need, but to get out of the way and allow reality to just be there and become attuned to it, become at one with it. The next chapter that I want to go through here in this YouTube micro lecture is 8, one of my favorites. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It is content with the low places that people disdain. It is like the Tao, which can be translated as the way. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to simply be yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. Isn't that the truth? To simply be ourself is the easiest path. It is the low path. It is like being water, going toward the lowest place. It doesn't mean that we're groveling around in the gutter. It means that we are consuming as little energy as possible to be who we are. And being ourself is that point. Now, what ourself is, you try to describe it in words, and it won't work. So again, back to what we learned in chapter 1. It's not something that can be named. But you know. You know what it is. And you know when you're not yourself. So I love this one. I mean, and also the parable of water is very powerful. Water appears very soft and weak, but yet it can erode mountains. It changes the geology of the earth. Wind is the same way. It appears that wind is nothing at all, but if it's modified and bursts of air through our mouths and we speak, we can change the world. We alter empires. We bring people together. We can hurt so easily, or heal with a word, with the tone of our voice. Now, one last chapter I want to just touch on briefly, and that's number 80. Just the last one, the one just before the end, as I fumble here with my book. This is about what I consider an ultimate way of living that is in tune with the Tao, and especially important now that we need a sustainable world. If a country is governed wisely, its inhabitants will be content. They enjoy the labor of their hands and don't waste time inventing labor-saving machines. Since they dearly love their homes, they aren't interested in travel. There may be a few wagons and boats, but these don't go anywhere. There may be an arsenal of weapons, but nobody ever uses them. People enjoy their food, take pleasure in being with their families, spend weekends working in their gardens, delight in the doings of the neighborhood, and even though the country next door is so close that people can hear its roosters crowing and its dogs barking, they are content to die of old age without ever having gone to see it. I say this indeed is like water, the path of least energy consumption, the path of no ostentation, a path of so much transcendence that we're actually happy being here, present at this moment, being real and alive right now. And what more can we ask for? We really don't need to be traveling and burning up gasoline and fuel. It's only because we are not satisfied that we have to run around so much. We can do so much right now, right here. The Tao Te Ching, that's the end of this micro lecture. Bye-bye for now.